What a somber way to start a brand new week. As you saw the video right there, as Cincinnati quarterback Joe Burrow, one of the best at his position, unfortunately will be out. Expected to miss significant time, at least 3 months with a toe injury. He has a grade 3 turf toe. We're going to break down what that is, the timetable and time frame for his return, and what the Bengals do next, which puts a somber tone on their hot start, where they usually start out in quicksand. They started out all gas, no brakes under Zac Taylor for the first time. But unfortunately, their best player is out. Joe Burrow, he'll miss 3 months. Let's talk about it here today on the Flex Zone podcast. Make sure you sack that subscribe button if you're new. Go ahead and hit stick and tackle that thumbs up. And make sure you blitz that bell. Comment down below. You let me know your thoughts on the injury, where the Bengals go from here, and what is the outlook for the rest of the season for the Bengals. You saw the video right there, unfortunately, yesterday, as the Cincinnati Bengals did win and prove to 2-0 with a 31-27 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars, but lost in that the thrill of a game-winning drive by backup quarterback Jake Browning, the thrill of 2-0, first place in the AFC North all alone, a quick start, which usually is the opposite for the Bengals. The play right there where Joe Burrow was sacked looks like a regular tackle. He's rolled up on. We initially thought it was the ankle. It was revealed to be the toe. And if it's one thing that I hate more than anything else in sports, above terrible officiating or refereeing, above players who talk trash who don't even deserve to muster up the words out of their mouth, above superstar and star players who perform and come up smaller than mini-me in crucial big-time situations, it's injuries, because it's not Madden, it's not 2K. We can't turn the sliders all the way down or all the way up, or we can't turn injuries on and off. And unfortunately for the Bengals, in the midst of a great start, lost is the injury to Burrow. Regardless of how you feel about him, regardless of how you feel about the Bengals, he is a generational talent. He's a top 5 player at his position. He's the only guy in the AFC to beat Pat Mahomes and get to a Super Bowl. Obviously, they didn't win the Super Bowl, but he has that over guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and others. And unfortunately, the Bengals may be without him for at least 3 months. And you see it right here, a courtesy of the NFL. They posted it. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow feared to have suffered a grade 3 turf toe injury that will require surgery and sideline him at least 3 months, via Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero. Now, when it gets to the aspect of what is a grade 3 turf toe injury.
Go Google it.
I did go Google it, and a grade 3 turf toe. Actually, we can look together as a class, because I want you guys to see what I'm talking about so you can understand kind of the significance of this injury for Joe Burrow, Moneybag Joe, Joe Beasy, all that. So there you go. Here it is. Let's read it together. Grade 3 turf toe is a complete tear of the soft tissue, ligaments, and plantar complex around the big toe joint, causing severe pain, swelling, and bruising with significant impairment of the toe's mobility. So we can stop right there. Extreme pain, swelling, it's going to be painful, it's going to be swelling for a while, and you don't have mobility. And we know Joe Burrow isn't the most fleet of foot, but he can move enough, because let's not be facetious. The Bengals' offensive line is still lackluster. A lot of offensive lines in the NFL are lackluster, but the Bengals have one of the most underwhelming for the quality of quarterback that they have. You kind of wonder why they haven't invested more to the O-line. They paid receivers, they paid tight ends, they've reluctantly paid Shamar Stewart and reluctantly paid Trey Hendrickson, but you see it right there, mobility. This can sometimes involve a dislocated joint or bone fracture. So there could be a dislocated joint and a bone fracture, which needs time to heal. Treatment for the severe injury often requires a period of non-weight bearing. So non-weight bearing, walking boot, or cast. So he'll be in a boot cast for a while. Surgery may be recommended, looks like it was, and he took the recommendation, especially for competitive athletes. You see it right there, and they're getting no more competitive than playing in the National Football League as a quarterback. This will allow for proper repair and alignment of the damaged tissues. Recovery is slow, emphasis on slow, and can take months with an S, emphasizing the need for rest, physical therapy, and patience to regain full function and return to activity. So, Bengals fans, who day nation, this can take months. Recovery is slow. The need for rest, physical therapy, and patience to regain full function and return to activity. This can be severe pain. These are the symptoms: severe swelling, significant bruising, considerable difficulty in moving the big toe, potential for joint discomfort or dislocation or bone fracture. Treatment: rest, walking boot. Toe may be immobilized in a walking beat for extended period. Avoid weight bearing activities. Can't have 300-pound linemen falling on you, 250-pound linebackers. Surgery may be needed. Physical therapy, custom orthodontics may be beneficial to provide support and offload the injury toe. A grade 3 injury can take weeks to months for recovery. Patience is crucial with the healing process, as returning too soon can delay healing and lead to poor athletic performance. Professional guidance: athletes should consult with a healthcare provider or athletic trainer before returning to sports to ensure they have fully regained the range. It right there. Slow, painful, takes patience, and it takes time to regain all of the movement and mobility in that ligament and the soft tissue. We know how soft tissue injuries can be. Now, it's imperative that they have patience due to Bengals. They're going to go with Jake Browning. We've heard that maybe they should try to trade for Kirk Cousins. I don't think that's going to happen. It's one thing to trade for a lineman, linebacker, corner, even a receiver, but to trade for even a running back too, to trade for a quarterback going into week 3, early part of the season where he has to come in and learn a completely new offense. Kirk Cousins isn't the most fleet of foot. He's less fleet of foot than Joe Burrow. The offensive line of the Bengals may not be really beneficial for a guy like him because they're not the most elite group of guys to protect him, but he has a hell of a weapon crew. Brown, Chase, Higgins, Fant, Gesicki. I mean, they have so much weapons. It's maybe the best group of weapons in the NFL potentially. If you want to argue that in the comments, you can. But Chase Brown is going to step in and start for them. It's going to be intriguing to see what he does. Now, he is a little bit more athletic maybe than Burrow. He can move a little bit more. He may be more of a threat with the run game. He can do maybe a little read option, a little bootleg, a little bit of getting outside of the pocket and extend drives, maybe get 2 or 3 first downs a game just with his legs, because defenses aren't going to be keying in on, oh, we got to stop Chase Brown's legs or Jake Brown's legs. Excuse me. Thinking about Chase Brown. Love Chase Brown. Really underrated guy. And he can catch the ball out of the backfield too. But you got Chase Brown, Jamar Chase and Chase. But I think, having Joe Burrow back in 3 months is completely optimistic. As we look at the schedule here, they beat the Browns and they beat the Jaguars. So congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengals. You are 2-0. And think about the defense of the Bengals. They've closed out the last 2 games. Obviously, Cleveland missed a kick, but the defense only giving up 16 points. They deserve kudos for that. And to only give up 27 this week, I mean, you think about the first 2 games, right? They've only given up a total of 31 plus 16, right? So they've only given up, what, 47 points in the first 2 games? Divide that by 2. That's only giving up 23 and a half points per game. That is amazing. If you would have told me before the season this defense could keep opposing offenses to 25 or less, I would say this team is going to be a legitimate threat, more than they already are, because I thought they were a team that could at least get to the playoffs. No doubt. Now, would it shock me if they won the North? No. But I thought it was the Ravens and then maybe the Bengals, then Steelers, however you want to compare the 2 teams right there under the Ravens, in my opinion. But Joe Burrow gives you a chance every Sunday. He's an MVP caliber quarterback. A lot of people were picking him to be MVP. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, all the weapons I mentioned, and Trey Hendrickson. And probably, I guess, bringing in Al Golden was very underrated as a defensive coordinator because he's one of the best in college football. And when you think about it, that instant flick of the switch, what he's done with the defense so far, you got Shamar Stewart there about Trey Hendrickson. You got some players back there who are playing better than maybe we gave them credit for heading into the season. So if you can keep it under 25 points per game, you keep giving up 23, 24 points a game with this offense, you were expected to score 30 a game and outscore people. And that's what they're able to do. But now, how does that change with the quarterback? I think there will be more emphasis on running the football, maybe a little more read option, some more play action bootlegs, some waggles, get him on the move and allow him to have some nice, easy throws to the running backs, to the tight ends. And then when you have an opportunity, you saw yesterday, he made a couple of really good throws down the field. And like I said, he was clutch. He did a great job on that sneak at the end, the tush push, whatever you want to call it. But they beat the Browns. They beat the Jaguars. They're saying he could be out at least a month. Today is currently September 15th, halfway through September already. Crazy to think about. So that means the earliest would be what, December 15th? So they got Minnesota coming up. I don't think they win that. On the road, Minnesota's going to look to bounce back. Then you go to Denver. Tough defense for a quarterback who doesn't have the best ability and experience. I think you fall to 2-2. Then you host Detroit. I think you lose to that. That's 2-3. Then you go to Green Bay, who could be the best team in the NFC, right there with the Philadelphia Eagles, 2-4. Then you got Pittsburgh. I mean, it's a home game. I don't know if you're going to win, but I'll say, what is that? 2-6, you get the Jets. You could probably beat the Jets, maybe. I don't know. They got a quarterback hurt, Justin Fields. Tyrod Taylor may start. So let's go back to it. Not trying to disrespect your Bengals fans, but you beat the Browns and Jaguars. You lose to the Vikings and Broncos, you're 2-2. You lose to the Lions, you're 2-3. You lose to the Packers, 2-4. You lose to the Steelers, 2-5. I say you guys still a win and beat the Jets at home, 3-5. The Bears, could you beat the Bears? I don't know. I'm gonna say 3-6. So 3-6 through your first 9. You have a week 10 bye. Okay. Week 10 bye. Could that maybe allow for you to, if you have a new quarterback, maybe make a move in the next week or so, see how Browning does, and maybe make a move that way by the time you get to week 8 or 9, get to the bye, you could have a quarterback in there. But I mean, then you go to Pittsburgh. I think you lose that. New England, you've beat New England before. I say maybe you could win that. That's maybe another win. Then you go to Baltimore Thanksgiving night. I think that's a loss. At Buffalo, that's probably a loss. Baltimore again, that could be a loss. At Miami, you could win that week 16. Now this could be around the time frame he could be back because Joe Burrow could be a healed guy. He could have the Benny Hinn healed, as we like to say, but he could be back maybe before the December time frame. Maybe he could come back. I don't know. They have a bye week 10. Could he return maybe sometime after the bye? Maybe week 12, maybe back after the game against the Ravens on Thanksgiving because you'll have a little bit more time after that Thursday night. You have another bye. Maybe could he be back by December 7th, a week or so early against Buffalo, first game back? Or do you want the first game back to be against the Ravens? Or maybe you wait until week 16. You have the first game back against the Dolphins. But at this point, it could be condition critical where you got to get Joe Burrow in as soon as possible. And you kind of just say you don't want to aggravate the injury or make it worse, but you kind of have to take an opportunity if you are still alive to try to win games. But if you're out of it, which they could be, you don't want to rush him back. You want to make sure he's healthy, and you may just shut him down if he's not 100%, and it's still taking time because it could be a quick healing, could be a prolonged healing, it could be a normal healing, which could be the normal 3-month time frame. But I think you lose at the Vikings, I think you lose at the Broncos and Lions and Packers. So then you're looking at 2-4, losers of 4 in a row. Let's say you beat Pittsburgh. It's a divisional game. It won't be easy. You're 3-4. Cool. You beat the Jets. You're 4-4. You got the Bears. Let's say you beat the Bears because I don't trust the Bears. You're 5-4. Let's say you're 5-4 at the bye. Best case scenario. Cool. There you go. At Pittsburgh, 5-5. New England, could you beat them? 6-5. Ravens, I'm thinking you're going to lose without Burrow, 6-6. And at Buffalo, 6-7. So if you're 6-7 and Burrow can come back against the Ravens, I don't know. I still think the Ravens beat you guys, 6-8. And then you beat the Dolphins because I think the Dolphins will be long given up by then. They may have a new coach and everything. No Tyreek Hill. 7-8. Then you get Arizona. You still could beat them 8-8. Then you got Cleveland 9-8. So I think this team could still sneak maybe 8 or 9 wins, even without Joe Burrow, if he is able to come back. Let's say for that last stretch of games, maybe against Buffalo or the Baltimore set. I think they could still maybe best case get 9 wins. Now, is 9 wins going to get you in the playoffs? It's going to be crowded at the bottom of the AFC with the wild card and interesting to see what happens with those teams. But I do think there's a chance they could still have some sort of lifeline, could be on life support, but like last year, they could have a chance maybe in the final 2 weeks of the season to get in. Now, the question is if they can win some of those conference games, if they can beat a Miami, you beat Cleveland again, you beat a team like maybe the Patriots. You beat a team like the Jets. You beat the Bears at home. You beat maybe or split with the Steelers or Ravens. So they got to steal a game or two, but I think they could somehow still be with a chance to get into the playoffs. And they're the team you wouldn't want to see if they get into the playoffs. Trust me, because they have the quarterback. And if the defense continues the trajectory that they're on with the weapons they have, they could be a menace and a force to deal with. Because all you got to do is get in. All you got to do is punch your ticket to the dance, and anything can indeed happen. Now, I am looking forward to seeing kind of what they do. Like I said, I think they'll at least evaluate maybe the next week or two with Browning to see, because you got Minnesota and Denver, two of the top 10 defenses in the league, both on the road, tough places to play. Minnesota indoors and at Mile High. So those are two tough games. And then you have Detroit and at Green Bay. So you probably take these next 4 to 5 weeks in Pittsburgh as well, and the Jets. Like I said, you got to buy after the Jets and the Bears. So you maybe take these next 4 to 5 games against some real tough opponents, some really good defenses: Lions, Packers, Steelers, Jets, all good defenses. Bears aren't as good as they should be right now, but they have guys. So you may wait until see how things are going around week 8, week 9, head into that bye to maybe make a move and have a guy for the stretch run. But it's going to be intriguing, because maybe a blessing in disguise for the Bengals with everyone signed is maybe not do as well this year, get a really good draft pick. If you lose Hendrickson, you could draft his replacement on defense, or you could sign him somehow still if he wants to stay, and you guys work something out. You get another really good pick on defense, and they could be right back in the mix next year. I know Bengals fans don't want to hear that, but if you can get a top 5, top 10 pick, get maybe one of the top 2 or 3 defensive players on this team that could help change life with Shamar Stewart. Maybe you work out something with Hendrickson because money talks, and you maybe add another piece in free agency if you have some money to spend, which it seems like they are cheap, but they can add what they need to when they need to, especially on offense. So if they do it on defense, anything could happen. But we don't know. We want to hear from you in the comment section. We want to hear from you down below in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling with the Cincinnati Bengals, the unfortunate injury to Joe Burrow. It sucks. You've seen him limp into the locker room. That was terrible. And you hate when great players are hurt, because, like I said, injuries kind of just piss me off because you can't turn them off. They come at the worst time, and nobody benefits with injuries. You want any great player to be hurt. You want to see them at their best. You want to see both teams at their best, mano a mano, man on man, and see who really is the superior team, especially in a game like football, the modern gladiator games. But as you can see, Joe Burrow, the toe is, oh man, it just sucks to see that, because I can only imagine toe pain, especially feet as a quarterback, needing that to move. You see the love pouring in from everybody from the Bengals. You had Pat Mahomes, Bengals. You had Pat Mahomes say something. You had Russell Wilson say something as well, and even Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco, former Bengal. I don't think Joe Burrow is injury prone. It's kind of like a freak injury, but let me know in the comment section what you guys think about that as well with the Joe Burrow injury. What do the Bengals do over the next 3 months potentially? Do they make a move for Kirk Cousins? Do they run with what they have? Do they maybe just take the L in the season, shut Joe Burrow down if they're out of it, and come back next season with more firepower, especially on defense, with the offense they already have? Or do they somehow stay afloat, like I mentioned, best case, and maybe, just maybe, he can sneak in at the end of the season, give them a couple of late season wins, and potentially help them sneak into the playoffs as maybe that one team you don't want to see, especially if you're a higher seed and they're coming into your stadium to battle you. One game, everything on the line. But sound off down below in the comment section. Hit the like button, hit the bell if you made it this far. Yours truly, God's favorite host. First week of content coming your way. Let me know your thoughts on Joe Burrow and more as we head towards week 3 already of the NFL season, week 4 of college football. We got our flagship podcast tonight. And of course, all the great weekly watch alongs of the week that you're coming here for and you love to see on the Flex Zone podcast. Your home for the NFL and professional sports, giving you sports how you want it, when you need it. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you with more content here on the channel.